Good morning, everyone. Clint McLaughlin here, Midwest Market Management. I've got Riley Sykart on with me here today, and we're going to jump into U.S. weather from a national yield perspective. Riley, we got a lot of disagreement in what's going on, and I'm seeing one of the more bizarre rain patterns in this 6 to 10 day period. It just really isn't a system that you normally would see, and it's putting rain into South Dakota, but we got a lot of disagreements in the models. Care to elaborate on that here in a bit?
Yeah, Mother Nature's feeling a bit bipolar with the weather models because it's changed quite a bit here in the last 48 hours. So we'll get to that here in a minute. But before we do, I got some other maps to show us. So getting into it here, first thing I do have something that has stayed very consistent 1 to 5 day temperatures, staying with the same theme of it's been hot in the next 5 days. You're getting towards the tail end of this really hot cycle in the Dakotas, Iowa, Illinois, and Minnesota. These hot temperatures are coming to an end as you get into beginning of next week. And as you move to the 6 to 10, there you can see temperatures going back to the 80s, except for the South, and then Nebraska and Southwest Iowa staying pretty warm. So one thing I do want to point out there is that Nebraska area has been 90 plus degrees. If this all stays true, that'd be 3 plus weeks straight in the 90 plus degree temperature range. And there hasn't been a whole lot of rainfall there either. So a lot of Nebraska is irrigated. You got to take it for what it's worth. But a lot of dry land corn in Nebraska might be starting to show some stress as you're getting to the end of July at this point. So something worth keeping an eye on there, but I'm not hearing any reports of catastrophic stress either from the Dakotas or Nebraska yet. So we'll have to see what happens. One thing that did come out new today, drought monitor map. I have the comparison for last week's and this week's because they're nearly identical. Your only addition would be in Northeast Missouri. They added a little bit of color there, but other than that, it's hasn't really changed at all. So I'm not going to spend any time there. Last 2 weeks of rainfall, there hasn't been any rain here in a few days, so nothing to add to that either. But moving ahead, 1 to 5 day precip. Still not a whole lot in the forecast, some spotty chances in Illinois and the Eastern Belt, but I'm not seeing anything there to say there's a big rain coming to help aid the crops. And here's the big game changer, Clint. I kind of breezed through some of the other maps quickly because I want to spend a little bit of time on this one. Weather models have shown some rain starting in the Dakotas and working southeast. And they've been showing that now for the last 2 to 3 days. And then all of a sudden this morning, the GFS weather model got rid of this rain completely. The Euro model lightened up the amounts a lot, and our model has just lightened the amounts similar to the Euro. So this was showing 2 to 3 inches of rain across the board in a kind of an odd pattern going from South Dakota, which has been dry for so long, generating a rainstorm kind of would definitely be good for the farmers out there, but it's hard to believe that they're going to go from no rain to generating a cell and storm themselves. So not that I'm a meteorologist, but weather amount or rainfall amounts have been dropped significantly in the last 2 days. And now with one weather model showing it completely gone, coming into Monday, it'll either be confirmed or denied whether that rain's coming. And for the good or the bad, that will have a market impact.
So. Yeah, and just to point out, because sometimes I'm sure on the video feeds, this is July 21 through the 25th. So we're talking about Tuesday of next week through Saturday of next week. So easily within a time period here where we should, you'd like to be able to count on some of these forecasts, but you do run into these spells where Mother Nature is kind of little moody, and these, what's going to happen here is kind of difficult to predict. But by Sunday night into Monday morning, we should be, I think the market's going to be pretty sensitive to what's in these forecasts come Sunday night, Monday. And then whether or not it materializes and how much, So very critical weather weekend, in my opinion.
I agree. So I think we've covered that pretty well. If you put everything on a 1 to 13 day, it's very clear where that cell is still being shown. It's a little bit of a wetter pattern, but if that does end up going away, there's not a whole lot of rain over the next 2 weeks if that pattern doesn't materialize. So we got to really just making the same point, beating the dead horse a little bit here, but we got to keep watching that really, really close going into the weekend and beginning of next week, because from the bullish perspective, if those rains come out, then we're probably talking at some crop stress coming into the mix. And if the rain does come and it aids a lot of people, then it might allow some bears to creep into the market too. So from how we view it from a national yield perspective, this rain cell, I think, is going to cause a big impact to the good or bad of the national yield. So.
Yeah, and I mean, there's there's certainly a lot of the country there's way more of the country in good shape than at risk here. But, the more you really start to follow North and South Dakota, the more you start to realize there's significantly more corn and soybean acres up there. The smaller grains are fading out, and they're becoming ever increasingly important in the national yield perspective. But the remainder of the country is pretty well watered and looking at some, ideal temperatures or ideal +2 degrees, +4 degrees, nothing that's out of the norm. Eastern Corn Belt had a bit of a tough start this year, but boy, when you get down to pollination time period and what counts, we're looking at a 1 to 13 day precip with 2 to 3 inches of rain in it, 82, 84 degrees, pollinating, doing its thing. Like, you can't ask for anything better.
Yeah, the reality is most of the growing area is in good shape. The thought of a 2012 style drought that's impacting the majority of the country is not going to say impossible, but at this stage, very, very unlikely.
Yep. So
with all that said, Clint, that's all I've got today. So.
All right. Well, I appreciate you putting the maps together, Riley. And again, thanks to Marcus Weather Group for providing the platform to get these maps. And we will talk to you on Tuesday. And we're going to know a lot more on Tuesday than we do today. So appreciate it, everybody. Have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot.